All right. Thank you so much for watching Dionté and Khai do dinner of BAKKHAI Variations. I normally would say something like, I hope you enjoyed the show, but I know that you definitely did. My name is Zach Apony. My pronouns are they, them, and I am the production dramaturg for all of the BAKKHAI Variations, including this one that you just watched.
And my name is Megan Schumacher, and I'm the playwright of Dionté and Khai Do Dinner, and I'm super happy that you tuned in.
Yeah, thanks for sticking around. We're just gonna have a little bit of a conversation. I have some questions I'm gonna ask Megan that'll hopefully broaden your context for what you just watched. So we're going to start kind of with the beginning. Maybe not everyone watching knows this. You were commissioned by Villanova Theater to write something inspired by Anne Carson's version of BAKKHAI. So what about the story of BAKKHAI in general, or Anne Carson's kind of take on it, inspired you to write what you ultimately end up writing?
Sure. Well, so first I really enjoyed just reading the BAKKHAI and found it thoroughly entertaining. I really liked the character of Dionysus and the way in which he sort of plays Pentheus. He's always a step ahead of Pentheus, which I love, and which definitely is something that I wanted to incorporate with Dionté and Khai when they say, when they're talking about their dear neighbor, and that they're no fools, like they know, and as does Dionysus. He totally is. He knows so much more than Pentheus. There's this awareness, this lack of self-awareness, I think, that Pentheus has as well, that I think is true for Pen. I was also interested in the idea of the foreigner, and that Dionysus is this outsider coming in. And Pentheus's response to him, and I also loved just the sense of play in the BAKKHAI, and certainly Carson does a great job of sort of capturing that play, and with Dionysus. Dionysus is having a lot of fun, and he's having a lot of fun in many ways at Pentheus's what's the word I'm looking for?
Expense.
Expense. Thank you. Pentheus's expense. So it's fun to sort of see that, and
Yeah, I think you really nailed that Dionysian balance in those scenes of playing things close to the vest, but also knowing exactly what to say.
Yeah.
I think that's really brilliant. And so, part of that commission was also, this needs to be something that can be done, digitally or recorded. So, as a playwright, primarily, what changed for you or didn't change for you when you were writing for this platform?
Yeah. So there's a part of me that one, I'm grateful for the platform, that the platform exists, and that there's still this space to create theater. But there's also this thing where I'm just Zoom it's not the same thing. So it's weird to watch a play that's written for the stage being performed over Zoom, especially if it wasn't created for that space. So that was very much on my mind as I was writing this play, and I was trying to think about what needs to happen so that this play will read well over Zoom. And so the two options for me, it seemed, were one, that it could be like a Zoom, like that everybody's on Zoom and things are happening over Zoom. But the other option, which is the one that I latched onto, was to write a monologue play, or a play driven by monologues. And so ultimately, that's what I chose to do, and I was really excited about writing that style of theater, because I hadn't written a monologue play, and so this was my first one, and it was a lot of fun. So,
Yeah. it was beautifully written, and I'm curious how what your response was when Malika kind of turned this monologue play into essentially a short film, with cuts to confessionals and things like that. What about that choice? What did that do to your feelings about the script?
So it was really exciting because I had not thought about reality television and confessionals. And, it's funny because I've watched Big Brother with Sandra Espinosa, who also was commissioned and wrote a play. And so when I was thinking about all the Big Brother confessionals, when Malika was talking about confessionals, like it really is like a confessional. And that hadn't even registered. So I was super excited the minute just that was her vision, that she had this vision that was just really cool, and worked really, really well. And it was really exciting to see it go in the direction that it did, and to see it come to life as a film, which I just did not expect at all. So it was fun. It was fun to think about, because originally it was supposed to take place indoors. So, but because of COVID-19, we were moving it outside. And so there were some changes that needed to happen. And all of those changes were sort of fun to play with and to think about think about how the play had to evolve in order to meet some of the needs of this new sort of reading of the play, which was really exciting and cool. And I am excited about the final product.
Yeah, it's really brilliant. So I want to kind of return to this idea of Dionysus being treated as a foreigner, in his own homeland. Like in the original BAKKHAI, Dionysus is born from someone of Thebes, and yet he returns to Thebes, and they're like, "Who was this foreigner?" And I think he really tapped into that, and so I'm curious to hear more of your thoughts about kind of that tension of this is my home, but also I'm not welcome here.
Yeah, totally. So I was really struck by that, and just the way in which Pentheus talks about foreigners. This idea that he somehow are the superior to those who are from outside, and so I totally wanted to play on that commentary in my play. And I thought that it really spoke well, that is, the BAKKHAI really spoke well to our times. And so as I was thinking about it, I was thinking about this idea of sort of a satire for our times, that, I was thinking about everything that's been unfolding, well, for a long time, but more specifically this summer. So I was thinking about the white couple who came out on their lawn with their guns as these people who were not interested in them at all were coming to see the mayor, the governor, whoever it was of some Midwest city. And I was just like, who are these people? Like, what is it that you're protecting? And it just this sense of, this is ours and you can't have it, but this land is our land. It is, and in many ways, actually, it's not our land. We've stolen it from others, right? So it just, in thinking about Penn, and I was thinking about Raisin in the Sun, and the welcoming committee. So I have a little shout out to Lorraine Hansberry in my play. That in many ways Penn is the welcoming committee, coming to size up his new neighbors whom he hasn't gotten to sort of learn about prior to their moving in, and this idea that if he had more control over his neighborhood, but it's not he doesn't own, it's not his to own, and so I love thinking about Dionté and Khai as these outsiders for Penn coming in and being the foreigners, but like the Dionysus, they're much more savvy than Penn could ever be. and are able to, basically turn the tables on him, and which is fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a blast.
Yeah.
And I feel like you've kind of answered this question, but maybe you can expand on it. Kind of this other side of this, of dealing with this xenophobia, is this empowering and liberating kind of build up to that conclusion. So I'm curious, what did you find liberating, empowering about writing this play, about telling this story?
So I think it was just a lot of fun to to play with Penn and to set him up for failure. In many ways, he sets himself up for failure, and I feel like that's so much of what is happening today. He almost makes it really easy, and so. His self-righteousness, which I think is true for Pentheus and the BAKKHAI, that sort of self-righteousness, it's always going to come back and bite you. And, this idea that you're somehow superior to others is also going to come back and bite you. And I think we see that unfolding today. So, I was really interested in making a commentary and a satire, and sort of being able to laugh at what often could otherwise be very dark, right? Because that's a direction I could have gone in, but because the BAKKHAI made me think of Rabelais. I thought about just having more fun and having that fun at Penn's expense. And yeah.
Do you want to expand on Rabelais for those who have hung around this long?
Yeah, I'll try to. So
Briefly, if we can.
Yeah, I remember Rabelais from, so I have a master's in English, and I studied Rabelais at some point, and I remember being introduced to him, may have been reading about Pantagruel and Gargantua, and they were like these giant, I don't know what they were, babies that were urinating on, I remember one of them urinates on Paris, and Rabelais was looking at the world in which he was living and writing this sort of really kind of bawdy almost satire about Parisian culture, and pointing out its flaws, and I probably am not doing him complete justice. It's been a while, but I remember always being fascinated by him, because I think the idea of the circus even comes from him, right? So this idea of just creating this world in which people are, where it is kind of like a circus unfolding. And in many ways, I feel like the world of Penn and Dionté and Khai is this circus where this sort of unexpected, and maybe even the expected, is happening, but it's like grand and big, and so the fun that at the end when Dionté and Khai see the picture of the family, and that sort of knowingly sort of looking and being like, because of course Dionté would know whether or not that Kit in the picture is the Kit in his class. And so the idea of, letting the BAKKHAI begin, let the fun begin. I mean, we've already been having fun, hopefully. So, but Penn's world has been totally turned upside down, which I think is kind of what happens in a circus as well. It's leaving the world as we know it behind, and coming into this world of just kind of craziness.
Yeah, I can really draw this line from Greek theater to the carnival and circus you're talking about, to Dionté and Khai, where things are larger than life, and they're larger than life so they can make like a really precise, clear critique and analysis of our culture. I think all of those have that in common. So I think that's really, really brilliant. And so my closing question is really broad, and you can take it wherever you want, which is, what do you hope audiences get from seeing this show?
Well, I hope that they are able to see the satire for what it is and understand it, and the commentary. I hope they're able to see the reflection of the world in which we live in the play, and perhaps even examine themselves and think about their own sort of biases and thinking about the world in which we live and how we might be able to maybe this is more along the lines of what I'm looking for, but able to upturn, upset this sort of world order that has been driving our country for the last 4 years. Sorry to be so, specific, but I think that there's something very disturbing about people, about the injustices that are happening in our country, and that they continue to happen, and that there are people who can't and who refuse to sort of see those injustices. And even just recently listening to Supreme Court justices say that they are thinking about bringing back the question of gay marriage is really, really upsetting and disturbing, and scary for our world and for people who are not white cisgender folks.
Yeah, I agree more. Well, thanks so much for hanging out with me, Megan, sharing your brilliant thoughts, and thank you for sticking around and listen to us. Hopefully, give you some more little hints, little glimmers into Dionté and Khai do dinner, and hopefully, I'll see you at the end of the other BAKKHAI variations. Thanks so much.
Thank you.